So hey guys, welcome back to another video. And Harpreet, thanks a lot for helping me out to make this video. And basically in today's video, I want to discuss with you, like, as an experienced candidate, what were you expecting from this MBA program? What this degree has to offer to you and what value it will provide to you. So I want to look into that mindset. But before I ask you any question about your journey in here in Halifax in Canada, I would like you to introduce yourself to the audience, please.
Absolutely. Thanks Sahil for having me for this video. So about myself, as Sahil told, my name is Harpreet Singh, and I moved to Canada last year. So before that, I was working in India for like 5 years. I worked with mostly within the tech startups. Started with Byju's. Later, I moved to ClearTechs, and then there was this HR tech company called Skillet. So over the 5 years, it took me, I'll say it took me a while to understand that what I really want to do in my life, like most of the people working in India. So, so during my journey, I did my engineering, back in 2016, but later worked more like a growth strategist or a marketer for these companies, building revenues from scratch, etc. So while I was working with ClearTechs, that's where this thing started. That yes, I need to do my MBA. So I worked with the ex-consultant from AT Kearney, which is like the big consultancy, I guess across the world. So having my initial conversation to understand his mindset, because I guess he was the guy who actually moved companies from I'll say 0 to 1. And having that conversation, I understood that there is something that's missing. Even though I was leading teams there, I was doing pretty good in my career in terms of both from financial and the overall career progression perspective. So I understood that there is something that I'm missing because I'm just understanding one vertical of the business. That's more like the business development, growth, revenue. But to be a successful, I'll say, a business person, so I always wanted to do something of my own. You need to understand a bit of everything. Right. That's what MBA provides you. Okay. So that's gives you a 360-degree understanding about almost each vertical that actually you probably need to build for running an organization. So that's where I decided to do MBA, and then the entire journey took me like 2.5 years. Started with me having a quick workshop for GMAT. So I did a GMAT workshop. Initially, like for like any other aspirant, I thought that I need to crack 700 on my GMAT. But slowly and gradually, I understood that GMAT is just 20% of your overall admission profile that you need to build for the good MBA. So I started jotting down a couple of pointers or a couple of prerequisites that you need to get into a good MBA school. Okay. So I guess initially for my GMAT, so while I was doing GMAT, I was working too, and working with startup it's not like a very pretty smooth journey. Like you do a lot of stuff on a daily basis, and that's how it goes. So while I was doing GMAT, I started working on 3 things. I started building my SOP. Okay. So again, this is something I guess that's important that a lot of students don't understand, but SOP is more important than GMAT. Yeah. I got 630 on GMAT, and as I was telling you that I got into sobey, I got into Alberta School of Business, and I got into Simon Fraser. Okay. So I know people who got more than me in GMAT, but still wasn't able to do so because it's, as I mentioned earlier, it's just not about your GMAT, but you need a better SOP. You need to have you need to give a very clear understanding to the to the admissions team that why MBA, like why sobey School of Business, why this is the right time for you to pursue an MBA. So I guess that bit, if you've been able to take it very clearly on your SOP, you're done. So GMAT, SOP, then the letter of recommendations. So after you're done with your SOP, within your letter of recommendations, try to get it from someone with whom you worked very closely. So For me, it was my manager with whom I worked for like 3+ years. So just don't exaggerate a lot of things. Try putting in things that you did, right? Even if you feel like, no, this is not something that might not be something that probably gonna land you into a great business school, but put your stuff, that you did in your experience.
Okay.
So yeah, so I guess building these three things kind of helped me landing into these business schools.
Okay. So you mentioned that you got into Simon Fraser University, University of Alberta, and also in this St. Mary's University, the Sobey School of Business. I'm very surprised that why did you choose this smaller city as compared to the other bigger cities? Like you could have been in the Vancouver area or in the Alberta area, and I think they are more developed as compared to this city and this province, right? So you might have thought something, right, that you want to come here in this city, in this university. So what was the thought process behind that?
Exactly. This is the great question. So I guess I'll be honest. The first thing was I was having some constraints.
Okay.
So the reason why Sobey was the best fit, the first was in terms of tuition, the tuition cost. This is the sort of ROI that I was getting from Sobey School of Business was pretty good.
Okay.
I guess the entire MBA would cost you like $50,000. $50,000, and the other thing was the time. This is more like a compressed MBA, wherein the entire MBA degree will happen in 16 months.
Okay.
I'll say it's surely demanding. When you have to do the probably a 24 months course in like 16 months, you have to opt for like minimum 5 subjects every semester. But other than that, these are the two initial constraints. And then was that I was mostly put up in metropolitans. Like while I was in India, I was in Mumbai for like 2 years. I was in Bangalore for like 3 years. So this time I wanted some change. And that's why Halifax is the best, I'll say, the town city to be in if you're really looking forward to kind of that sort of I'll say the space that you've been missing in the big cities. So I guess that's why I chose Halifax.
Okay. So as I can see that the choice was mostly driven by the personal reasons.
Yeah.
So after coming here in Halifax, did you ever feel that you're missing out something? Like, did you regret that, I should have gone to Vancouver area or to that Alberta area because they might have more opportunities to offer in terms of job or maybe in terms of living. So has it ever happened to you?
I'll start from here. I guess more than missing things, I was fortunate to land into a part-time job, which is with one of the great companies here in Halifax. But I guess the things that I feel I missed is like the Alberta has been growing super fast.
Right.
If I talk about Calgary. The new corporates that they are setting up, a lot of these venture firms have recently moved to Calgary. Like I guess there is this firm called Plug and Play who actually have the best, I'll say, funding in terms of these startups. And but I don't think so. I thought a lot of missing Vancouver because that is something I wanted, kind of take break from a metropolitan city like Vancouver. So other than that, I guess the quality of study, the quality of education that I got from Sobey School along with some good part-time job is something that I really appreciate that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Harpreet, you were mentioning about the quality of education while you talked about your this B school, right? So I read somewhere a quote. It's a very funny quote actually, and it stated that most of the drug dealers, they know more about running a business than the professors teaching in the colleges or universities. How true is it for your school? So like, I want to know the teachers or the professors who are teaching you some particular courses. Are they someone who are really experienced in the industry, or are they someone who had strong academic background? And do you feel that they are able to teach you the things that you were expecting?
Sure. Yeah, no, that's a pretty good question and quote too. So I'll quickly give you example like of the professors that taught us in the last semester.
Okay.
So I took economics. It was like global economics for as one of my courses, and the professor who taught us that course, I'll say, I mean, he's the man himself. He graduated from University of Oxford back in 1997. He served as senior economist for almost 8 years for state of Ontario. And over 17 years, he been serving as director of economics for Nova Scotia State. And getting taught by a professor like this, I guess that's the best thing that can ever happen to MBA graduate like me, who came all the way from Canada to have that understanding of that international market. And same goes with a lot of other professors. This semester I opt for management consulting.
Okay.
So the art professor, he been an independent management consultant from last 35 years. So I guess as of now, he been running projects for his company across the globe. Like he been working with government of New Zealand, and then other than that, he been working with government of Canada, some indigenous people from Africa. So yeah, I guess that in terms of quality, I'll give higher weightage to the professors that we have at Sobey School of Business.
Okay. And Harpreet, I have noticed that a lot of people, they have some sort of specialization, like MBA in finance, MBA in marketing, and even I get a lot of questions from students. They want to know like which of these domains have a higher scope here in Canada. We cannot define the scope. It's more about the industry. It's more about the interest, like what are the skills you can be good at, right? But I want to get your perspective, like how did you guys decide that you want to go in a particular sector? So like when you enroll into an MBA program, is it like you have to choose a specialization at the beginning, or is it something that you have to choose at the end? Or I mean, how these things work for MBA aspirants?
Right. When you enter an MBA, you have to take the generic courses that has that gives you an understanding of every vertical. For example, marketing, economics, finance. So that actually build a base for you. But the moment you move in third term, or I'll say the second year of your MBA, that's where electives are introduced.
Okay.
So when it comes to electives, then we have electives like management consulting as one, marketing and consumer behavior as second, then data analytics as third, and then that's where the segregation or the separation between the I'll say the area of interest starts. Right. So for example, I choose management consulting because again like from the past experience I was talking about, I wanted to understand the 360 degree of business rather than, so that's what a consultant do. So for me, I took management consultant, but this, you can actually opt for your major or area of interest as soon as you move into your third term of MBA.
Okay. So till this point of time, we have discussed like who should choose MBA, like what mindset people should have before pursuing this degree. But at the same time, there are some people who are not suited for this program. Like there's not exactly people, but the mindset, right? So I want to ask you, like, who should not pursue this degree? Like what kind of mindset people should not have, or the personality traits. So what would you say about that?
Here's the thing, like the moment you decide to go for an MBA, having a mindset, that no, I might not be up for something that's really demanding. MBA is demanding. It's not. I have a couple of friends who actually thought of doing masters while even I developed that thought process. So just be prepared that for next 16 months, there's certainly, academics gonna drill you down to a level that where you are studying, working, and if you are planning to move to Canada and also do a part-time, it's surely gonna be demanding physically, mentally. Prepare your mind and then come. Because if for the international students, there's a lot of change. There's a lot of change that you need to digest. You change the country. For the very first time, you see people from almost every nationality sitting with you, They have a different mindset. You have to be open about the ideas. So it's about openness to learning, and second, preparing yourself to enter into something that's demanding. So I guess these two qualities, if you feel like that this is not the right time for you to delve into this, just
Then
don't go
don't
for
go.
MBA. Yeah,
Okay.
take some other course.
So Harpreet, one more thing that I'm curious to know is whenever, like you told that MBA is teaching you a lot of different horizons of a business, right? So does this degree prepare you to be better employee, or it prepares you to be an entrepreneur? Like entrepreneurship is sort of a mindset, state of mindset, right? But does this degree teaches you concepts of those, like the startup working, like maybe the team building of your own, or those aspects that are required to start something of your own, or it helps you to merge into the corporate sector? So what's
And that's a interesting question. So first I'll talk about getting into the corporate sector as an employee, right? So what corporate sector as of now is looking from an MBA graduate, because we have very few MBAs right now in Canada. So if shall I go with this thing? So for example, if we will talk about top 20 MBA schools,
okay?
on an average, there shouldn't be more than 50 students in each MBA school. It might be less, it might be more, but the average could be around 50 to 60.
Okay.
So top 20 MBA schools, the entire MBA pass outs in Canada would be 1200. Now, corporates need MBAs. They need people who have general understanding of how a business needs to be run, right? So getting into the corporate, I'll say from the personality standpoint, because since you go through a lot of HR courses like responsible leadership, they try to build that level of empathy that you need to, while to get successful in a corporate.
Okay.
So, so getting into a corporate, definitely MBA prepares you for that. But my major goal was to, get that internal entrepreneur out of me. So for that bit, I would say MBA is the best thing to do.
Okay.
Because you get basic understanding of everything. Like I did finance, I did economics, I did marketing, like these courses, right? So you've been able to have that conversation that makes a lot more sense when you're or when you probably be discussing with your own employees. So right from hiring to growing up your business, you get that understanding of what a successful entrepreneur needs. So yeah, I guess that's the.
Okay, so we have talked a lot about degree, like pursuing this MBA program, but there's one thing that we need to consider is like the city in which you are living, like what exactly the city has to offer, like in terms of the business, right? So talking currently about the Halifax,
Right.
does the city has enough to offer you to make you stay here in the future, or are you planning to go out of the city? So what does this city has to offer for the MBA graduates or someone who's looking to start something of their own?
I've been introspecting a lot on this part, because I'm 8 months down the line, I'll be completing my MBA, so whether to stay here or move to the western coast or. So here's the thing, like initially, I planned my career in a way that initially I'll be landing into the job, like, to kind of build that sort of base that an international student needs in a country like Canada. So for that bit, I'll be moving to, I'll prefer moving to Ontario or Alberta. Alberta, because as we had a discussion that how things are already been settling there, and Ontario, because that's where the major job market is. So, but the moment you decide that that you need to set up something of your own, so it's always good to set that up in an unexplored market, or the market that's booming. So Halifax is that market. In terms of job, I'll say the bigger job market would be your Ontario or British Columbia, specifically Vancouver or Alberta. But when you really want to set up something of your own, Halifax is the next big thing, next big city to do that. A lot of venture firms who can invest in your business are setting up. And other than that, In fact, this Nova Scotia government has already announced a couple of plans, couple of funds that they want to, put into these new startups. So
Okay.
having basic understanding of your idea, you can actually, write out to a government asking for funds. So that level of flexibility is there in Nova Scotia, which you might not find in Ontario, because, in terms of startups or business, that's bit, I won't say saturated, because there's a lot of potential still left there. But yes, there is, like, things have started settling down. But here things have started, I'll say, booming. So
Okay.
yes.
So like in short, if someone wants to get into a big corporate, then they should consider moving out of this province. But
Right.
if someone is looking to start something of their own,
Then this
is the
yes.
best city to be.
Absolutely.
Okay, cool. And I think, Harpreet, I can go forever talking to you about the business and this thing, but
Same.
we have to close this video. So before ending our video, any closing remark to the future MBA aspirants, like maybe some profile building tips, maybe something mindset building tips, I would say. So anything you would like to suggest to them?
Absolutely. So, the one suggestion from my side is that come with an open mindset, because that's the biggest challenge for the experienced people. Since they already have experience, they have that picture in their minds, about the corporates, about like things that are pretty settled. Come with the open mindset, and that will be I'll say, the biggest succeeding criteria for you.
Well, thanks a lot, Harpreet, for your time.
Absolutely,
And
no
thanks
problem.
a lot, guys, for watching this video. And please make sure to comment down your thoughts, like what are the good points that you took from this video. And this will help me to bring forward more amazing people like Harpreet in the future. And we will continue making such great videos. Thanks a lot for watching, guys. See you
Thanks,
in the next
guys.
video.